Jodie Ginsberg is CEO of the Committee to Protect Journalists. Welcome to DW. The Israeli military says, and I'm quoting now, it says it does not target journalists as such. Reporters Without Borders accuses Israel of deliberately targeting journalists. Where's your organisation on this?
Well, it's absolutely clear that Israel does target journalists, not only in this war, but in the preceding decades. We are investigating at least 26 cases of the 197 journalists who've been killed since the start of this war, in which we believe Israel to have deliberately targeted journalists, knowing that they were journalists. And to remind us all, journalists are civilians. They are considered so in war and must never be targeted. And to do so is a war crime.
And if that's the case, if, as you believe, that Israel is deliberately targeting journalists, why would they do that, in your opinion?
Well, we believe it's part of a pattern from Israel to control the narrative about what's happening inside Gaza. So the killings of journalists, the attacks on media facilities, the banning of news outlets like Al Jazeera and the throttling of news outlets like Haaretz in Israel are all part, we believe, of a systematic attempt to censor information about what's happening inside Gaza and to cast doubt about what Gazan journalists are reporting, because, of course, remember, no international media has been allowed independent access to Gaza since the start of the war. So by not allowing independent media in, Israel is able to perpetuate this narrative that all Gazan journalists are untrustworthy, that they're terrorists, and therefore that we, the public, should doubt the images that they're sharing with us.
There are media reports that suggest Israel struck the hospital because there was a camera on the rooftop filming Israeli troop movements. Other reports suggest the camera was a live broadcast. What's your understanding?
Our understanding is there was a live broadcast taking place by Reuters news agency, and that the cameraman killed in the first strike was a contractor for Reuters. It's not clear whether Israel was going after that camera in particular. It certainly said that it was going after what it believed to be a camera broadcasting images for Hamas, but we haven't got any further details on that.
What can you tell us about the day-to-day life of journalists working in the Gaza Strip?
It's really very difficult to adequately convey just how brutal conditions are for journalists. I think we tend to think about journalists covering wars as hardened war correspondents who parachute in from abroad. These are Palestinian journalists. Many of them were not trained as war correspondents. They didn't intend to be war correspondents. They became war correspondents because that is the daily reality for all of Gaza. They are struggling with continual displacement. Many of the journalists we speak to have been displaced 8 or 9 times. They're living in temporary shelters with the constant noise of drones and bombardments overhead. They are starving. We've had a situation in which at least 3 journalists have fainted live on air while reporting because, of course, they are subject to the same deprivations as everyone else, the forced starvation by Israel of the Gazan people. And so they're reporting while hungry, trying to find food for themselves and their family. And with increasingly broken equipment. Remember, again, no journalists have been allowed in, but also very few are allowed out. They're working with poor and degrading equipment to try and bring us those images that you've been sharing in your program.
And now that Israel is intensifying its military operations in Gaza, what can be done to better protect journalists?
Well, we need to see more of an outcry from the international community, both from journalists themselves, from our community of journalists, from the media, but also from international governments. We've seen very little public condemnation of Israel over the past 2 years. That's beginning to change. We welcomed Germany's call for an investigation and an explanation from Israel over the last killing 2 weeks ago of the Al Jazeera news crew in Gaza City. We expect more of that from more governments, a call for an explanation of Israel's actions by Israel, and then, of course, consequences. Israel is flouting international humanitarian law, and it is incumbent upon other governments to hold Israel accountable and to prevent it from continuing these atrocities.
Good talking to you. Thanks for joining us. Jodie Ginsberg from the Committee to Protect Journalists.
Thank you.